Hi, Ivan here from Clubscraft, where we help sports coaches spend more time with their athletes. And with October coming to an end, this is now the perfect time to plan your next season and to come up with your race goals for the next season and then start programming your training towards those goals. And in order to be able to do adequate planning, you first have to assess your fitness. If you are a triathlete, you will have to do different fitness assessments for each individual discipline, while if you're a runner or a cyclist, you are just going to have to do one specific fitness assessment. And today we are going to look into how to do fitness assessments for the swim. So there are different types of fitness assessments. There are graded exercises, there are time trials, and we'll try cover all of these and just explain the differences. But whatever you do, it's very important that you stay consistent. So you shouldn't be doing a time trial this time and then a different kind of time trial the next time and then go to a graded exercise in the third time. So whatever you do, stay consistent. That's the easiest way how you can compare yourself to your past results and then start predicting and planning for the future. So the first thing that we are going to talk about is the swim graded exercise in a pool. And this one can get a little tricky because you need an assistant, but with practice it's going to be quite efficient and you will be able to gauge your relative effort as well as get insight into how your body reacts for different intensity levels. So what you are basically going to do is swim 100 meters at a given pace. So you will always start with a warm up of 10 to 15 minutes to get the blood flowing and to just properly warm up. And then what you're going to do is start out relatively easy for your first 100 meters. And once you're done, you're going to tell your assistant the relative effort that you feel. So it can be from 1 to 10, it can be from 6 to 20. Whatever you feel to measure your relative effort is going to be okay. But another thing that you are going to do is to measure your pulse. So you will be counting your heartbeats for 10 seconds and then let your assistant know. They will write it down and then calculate your true heart rate just by multiplying it by 6. And after 20 seconds, you will start another lap. And your goal is to always be 2 to 3 seconds faster than the previous lap. So if you start at, let's say, a 150, your next round is going to go to 147, then 145, 43, and you are going to go as much as possible. So every time you're going to go a little faster, your perceived exertion is going to be a little higher, and you're just going to try and complete as many laps as you can until you cannot be within the allocated time. So if your, I don't know, 7 or 8 interval is going to be 125 and you aren't able to finish in that time, the test is done. You write all the results, you cool down, and that's it. And later on, you can then start analyzing this data and make sense of it once you start doing them again every, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks. Then you will probably start seeing an increase in your speed and or probably even a decrease in the perceived exertion throughout the intervals. The other thing that you can do is time trials. There are different kinds of time trials. You can do a 1,000-meter time trial, which you start after you again properly warm up. You just start out your 1,000 meters and you try and keep it as even as possible and also go as fast as possible so that you really, once you come to the finish line, you really should be able to swim another 50 meters. And once you're done, you will again start measuring your heart rate and let your assistant know, and then you will also write your total time for the 1,000 meters. You will write your average 100-meter time, so just divide it by 10, and you keep those data then saved somewhere for analysis later on. Another one, which is one of my favorites and I use always, is to simply warm up, swim 400 meters all out, and after that I have a 5-minute recovery, and then do another 200-meter time trial, have another recovery, and then just do another 50-meter. So then you have 3 parameters, and with the 400 and 200-meter times, when you use this handy formula, you can then also calculate your pace for your swim workouts. So those 3 different approaches to measuring your fitness in the swim are all equally valid. And one thing to keep in mind is that if you're wearing a heart rate monitor, it's much simpler. Then you don't have to count your heartbeats and write those things down. You can then analyze them later on. But keeping all this data is very important, because after a certain amount of time has passed with you training, you will be able to analyze the data and just measure how far your fitness is improving, or if you're stagnating, so that you know that you have to change up your training regime. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we are going to talk about cycling fitness assessments, and we are going to look into different kinds of cycling fitness assessments, and also talk about how to use them later on. Until then, bye bye.